Congresswoman Maxine Waters. We were on stage. We were dancing.
Yes,
And you said, "I promise you, I'm going to get him this time. I'm going to
that's
get
right.
him."
That's right.
Yeah.
Tom, I had a great time. And yes, you know that I've been on this issue for so long, and I tried to convince a lot of people that this man was unworthy of the presidency. He's dishonorable, he's deceitful, he's a con man and a crook. And finally, it's catching up with him, and people are rolling on board now. It looks like we're on our way to impeachment.
Congresswoman Maxine Waters, it seems like all of the committees are coming together to make this happen. How many different committees are there, and how will the Speaker of the House, as well as those of you who are the heads of the committees, work together to bring this to fruition?
Well, as you know, all 6 committees that's involved in the investigations have been working together. Each of these committees have been looking at different aspects of what has been happening with this administration. And so we're working with the Speaker, and now we have all of our caucus, over the majority of our caucus, who are now in support, given what's happened with this whole scandal around the Ukraine. So we'll continue to work, and we're going to finalize what should go in an impeachment resolution, the 6 heads of those committees, and then we're going to give it to the Judiciary Committee to expedite the impeachment.
And how long do you think this might take?
I'm not sure, but we're going to move very quickly. We know that this is not something that should drag out, that we are nearing the elections, and so we're going to be moving as quickly as possible.
Have you heard, I mean, he has mentioned names of especially of black women that he does not like in the way that, but yesterday I heard him mention Congressman Al Green's name. And Al Green was on the floor the day after he was inaugurated calling for his impeachment. And now it seems to be working it to your advantage. Do you really, in your heart of hearts, think that this is going to make some headway into removing him from office?
Well, I do believe that this is a very significant development for all of our new members and members who thought that perhaps it would not be understood in their districts. They now get it. They get it that the President of the United States used the power of his office to basically, leverage the funding that should have been going to the Ukraine in exchange for finding dirt on Biden. And so they kind of get that. All of the other things that we've been talking about are now coming together. He refused to show his tax returns. He basically committed obstruction of justice, and that was basically verified in the Mueller report. I have information. There's a lot of information about his collusion with Russia and the Putin. Everybody knows that our intelligence agencies have documented that they undermined our democracy by hacking into our elections processes, hacking into the DNC. So now people are seeing that, this man really is a crook. He's corrupt. He's dishonest. And he doesn't give a darn about the Constitution or the democracy. They get it. And I think we're moving in the right direction. I'm very hopeful that we're going to get to impeachment.
What about your colleagues across the aisle? Everybody's asking. We have a texter this morning, and this is the conversation. As you say, your caucus is in line. But what about the Republicans, the GOP, and do you really think you'll get any support from the other side?
Well, here's what I believe. I believe when the heat gets hot on them from some of their constituents, many of whom have kind of believed that this was a witch hunt in the way that the president was able to messenger it over and over again, are now saying, wait just a minute. This is right before us. This is, the facts are here. He has admitted that he had this conversation with the president of the Ukraine, and he has admitted that he was talking about Biden and asking for a favor. And basically, in so many ways, in so many words, saying, I have your appropriations, I have your foreign aid in my hands. It's been held up in so many words. I've held it up, and I am going to release it in exchange for this favor that you're going to do for me. It's all in there, and I think it's understood. So I think the heat is going to grow. Some Republicans, I think, are going to have to break rank. Not all of them, because all of them on a different agenda, and they want him to be president for different reasons. But I think there's some people who truly on the opposite side of the aisle know that they can't keep going home with this mess that he has created.
And of course, you guys in the House up for re-election, every single one of you. So the heat will definitely be felt by a lot of folks going to their home districts. And just wondering about this email that was distributed, the talking points from the White House to the Republicans that was also mistakenly sent to the Democrats. Were you one of those?
You know, there's a lot of incompetence in that in that administration. We know that. We know that there have been a lot of blunders. We know that he listens to nobody. We know that he gets up and tweets foreign policy made up at 3 o'clock in the morning all alone. We know that they basically bungle things. Yes, they sent their talking points out to all of us. We got them.
Oh, wow.
and Congresswoman,
so I tell you, I'm not gloating. I'm not so gleeful and I'm not so into I told you so. I'm into really a basic understanding more about myself and how much I learned about the Constitution in junior high school, how much I learned about the Declaration of Independence, and I didn't know how thoroughly it was ingrained in me that the Constitution has value, and not only that, we have worked to make it stronger. It started out not as strong as it should be. It did not count us individually,
That's right.
3/5. We all know that lesson, but I know and understand now that the Constitution means a lot to me and to a lot of people. It's held this democracy in good stead, even as we have fought to make it stronger and better.
Yes.
And we've paid a big price. And we've had a lot of people who've sacrificed to make this democracy better and stronger and more equal and more just. And we're not going to let somebody like this con man and this crook who stumbled into office because he was allied with Russia, and they played an important part in undermining our elections that got him in. We're not going to allow him to continue to be in this role, in this position, running this country, embarrassing us, absolutely undermining all of our allies, and not do something about it. We should have moved sooner. We didn't, but I'm grateful. And I feel absolutely wonderful that we've gotten to this point where it certainly looks possible that we've got enough for people to understand in order to move on impeachment.
Go get them.
Congresswoman Maxine Waters from the great state of California.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And keep up the great work.
Thank you.
All right.